are again, sitting, spinning. Welcome back if you're back. Welcome here if you're new to Sit and Spin. Podcast that we're trying to run here. Me and my good friend Dany here.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Dany, welcome again.
What's up?
What we're trying to do here, just kind of appreciate some music, you know, specifically in these busy hustle and bustle times. Let's appreciate vinyl records, the medium itself. You don't really force you to just slow down, listen to lyrics as opposed to going from point A to point B in your car, distracted by somebody, you know, maybe get a phone call, just listen to it at the gym. You know, a lot of people connect with music different ways, but for me, I really find it nice to take a whole record, a whole concept, sit down, spin it. So we're just giving a little bit of appreciation and love to that medium there. So it's fun to just hang out with friends, just kind of have a chat. You know, there's no qualification to be on this show. So
this would be happening if the mics weren't here.
Right. Like, hey, let's listen to a record. Let's do that. So now we'll just throw some mics on and kind of get a little more finite about our thoughts as opposed to just listen in and turn it off and going about your day. But so, yeah, it's nice to definitely discover music. So this is a different way to maybe I come across an artist that I know only their hits and their singles. So maybe that's on one album. So you can discover the album itself, maybe discover something that's a little older in time that might connect with newer. I wanted to be able to take the show mobile. There's an opportunity to take all of the stuff, you know, on the go, take the cameras, and discover other collections. That's part of just having like a decent record collection. You can't listen to them all at once. You can only discover one at a time. So that's the best way I feel like to go through it, and let's have some fun with it. So
it's a slow burning activity, which is what I wanted to say. Like, that's to coattail off that. Like, that's what I like so much about it. It's cool. Really nice. This album specifically, the colors are sweet. It matches the album. You can work more with just the picture, the cover art. You can do a vinyl art as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, there's something in the art within itself, as in the physical art, as opposed to just the art of the music.
Do some active listening. Yeah. So then you can find those tracks that you throw on your playlist and can listen to passively.
Oh, yeah. And then I definitely come away from each one of these episodes going like, yeah, I remember one of those songs. Maybe not its top 10 song or nothing like that, but it's like, that's a song I liked, you know. Just
I told you there's a couple of Cuddy songs that
from a couple episodes ago.
Won't stop listening to. It's so good.
You're like, and those have always been there, you know. They've been there for years.
I know, that's the best part. That's the cool part about Unearthing. This one I've heard a million times, of course, but like Stevie Wonder, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, Stevie Wonder.
New stuff that you just haven't heard.
It's timeless. You should hear it. We love it, you know. Let's actually sit down. Let's put our little, you know, perspective on it.
But no, it's very tangible. It's cool, absolutely. You know, in the era of it's just right on your phone. Your phone is your phone. The screen is the same every single time. The cover art's there, but like there's nothing else besides the track playing. So you get to, you know, take out the physical object itself and throw it on there and clean it. The cleaning stuff is really cool. I want to get that stuff.
Kind of therapeutic in a way.
Yeah, definitely. So
and then you know, obviously, you know, we're a couple of Michigan kids, so we're trying to put on for the state as much as we can. A couple of close to the border Detroit boys, you know, really grew up down there. So not every episode, but a lot of episodes I'd love to dive into more than just Motown. Michigan doesn't get its love. Detroit doesn't give as much love as it should have. You know, you get your few titans every few years out of Detroit, but if you look deeper, Detroit is tightly woven into so many influences and so many things. So
if you're not here,
we can dig deeper into that. So
if you're in other hot spots of rap, if you're in Atlanta and something, you know, it's not your fault that you don't know about these hip hop artists. If you're not going on the local blogs and stuff like hot new hip hop or whatever, but like you know, it's cool to the exposition is here. Like, that's what we're doing during the podcast, is exposing the whole album and just breaking it down and all this stuff. So why not do it with our local artists
as best we can?
Come on the show.
And I'd love to have any artist on the show. Selfless plug. Any artist that wants to promote a local vinyl record. The only stipulation of the show is that you know, today's Friday, New Music Friday, every Friday, popping. We can review music till we're blue in the face. What we're doing is specifically, if it's on a record, if it's a vinyl record, that we're slowing down with it, that we're holding the jacket, seeing if there's liner notes.
Because there's artists, they won't release a vinyl for the record, so it's already, sometimes it's the label or whatever, but at least it's a step towards like, hey, that they know about vinyls. Some people go further and do a lot of cool stuff with them during the release. Some people just drop the vinyl and they're like, they have nothing to do with it, but it's like, hey, at least you're releasing that medium.
it's interesting. It'll go both ways because you'll get, so like I ordered, like The Weeknd put out that album, I don't know, beginning of the year, pre-Pandy. Yeah,
or the after stuff.
Whatever. After Hours. Yeah, I know. I wish I knew what it was, but I ordered it.
I think that's the
I liked it. I liked the sound of it. I played it a bunch. So let me hear it and enjoy it a little on another medium. So I ordered that, but I won't be getting that album for quite a while. So like, it's kind of interesting with some of these albums. So like this one personally, this album here, Blank Face. What we're doing today? We're doing Schoolboy Q, Blank Face. Get to the damn episode.
It's in the title, so you'll get that first.
Yeah, it's in the title. So yeah, we're doing Blank Face, Schoolboy Q, another TDE classic. I just love the new West Coast sound, especially TDE. There's
perfect.
Just anything that relates with them, I'm always like interested to hear it. Maybe not every single song hits, but so much comes out of that camp that is such a hit that, I keep coming back for more. So we're back here. So now specifically, this album came out July 8th, 2016.
Okay.
But the album itself didn't come out till October 28th, 2016. But that's really...
You mean the vinyl? Or?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the vinyl. So yeah, you could listen to it everywhere in July, but you couldn't sit down or hold the record until October, which with the theme of the record and the cover art, October's a great release for this great, orange and all that stuff to go with it, all the fall colors. But that's really slow of a time, or really fast of a time between July and October for an album to come out. Sometimes, there's notorious albums that have come out recently that are just like, it's like a year and it's still not out yet.
Yeah.
Or things that, like, one that I remember making a lot of waves on the internet was J. Cole, what's the kids one? The one where he's like KOD. So that one, people ordered it and like, it was just a nightmare to get. It was a nightmare to get the certain version. And then if you contact the customer support, apparently that was a nightmare. So, it was just painted a real bad picture.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like that. Other times, I don't know if TD just knows this is going to be a smash. This is such a great album. Everybody loves it. Album. So it's like, man, we're dancing to all the songs. We're printing this right away. So they were really fast to print on this.
It's cool. And there you go. That's like that industry influence, they wanted it to come out. Not wanted it, but they were down for it, and it's here spinning on the green machine.
Now, 2016. This is a time. Think about it. This is pre-Trump.
This album is specifically tied to.
It's during that whole time of running, but this is pre-November. All of this, the release of this album, all that. So we're still in like the heated run up to the last crazy 4 years, but that's like I think there's a time where people are like a pre and a post, depending on how much longer this thing goes on. But this is all pre that, so it was definitely just a much chiller time. Obviously, everyone was less.
It was before the calm before the storm. He did troll. Remember when he dropped the 2 album covers? Beforehand, he did the Michael Jordan crying meme, and then he did the Donald Trump one because that was his election thing. So he was definitely riding off the clout of the.
Yeah. He's plugged in. He's really good at the memes. The
he's
social
a huge
media
clown on social media.
Yeah, I love watching him and Tyler the Creator on. At
like,
least they did. I haven't been on social media for a while except for the show here, but now I'll probably dig a little more into it now that I'm following them. They would always have banters back and forth that are like, damn, this is as funny as some of the greatest comedians right now. These guys are just clowning around. It's so funny. Yeah.
We get our Snapchat group is named after one of his Snapchat jokes.
Oh yeah,
the PPB,
the pink panty bitches.
That's right, because when he was on Snapchat, still he's not anymore. He had he would say that all the time to everybody.
Him and Smack and Traffic and all those guys that you experience auditorily through the album. If you go onto their social media, they're out there. They're braggadocious with it, but they're just tons of fun to watch.
Yeah, during that studio tour.
Yeah.
Just nonstop, just on the bus.
Oh yeah.
Anytime I would open the Snap, they would be just so high that they were drooling, and they'd be making fun of him. Just pure ball busting. He was awesome. But,
the camaraderie between them is like, it's great. I really like it.
But we get it. One of our huge inside jokes is from this album.
Yeah,
he's funny. He's a funny guy.
Yeah,
he's a funny guy.
You funky guy. Yeah. All those funny things he's got to say. So he's not on Snapchat. You're in a mean. That's him too.
You're in a mean.
Yeah, Schoolboy has got hella catchphrases, man.
And that part, of course, obviously, that became a thing.
Yeah, that part, of course.
But no, 2016. I was working downtown. This album hit hard, you know, it was cool. It's because overall, like, the overall theme, I would say, for this is, and he confirmed it through interviews, is that it's like depressing rap. That's what he titled it. So
he called it
depressing rap. And it's like he was in a time in his life where he was just, whatever, going through it or something, I don't know. And not that I was going through it at the same time, but like, you know, whatever, just struggle, everyday struggle and shit. But this was the soundtrack to that for...
Would you call it that?
What's that?
Would you call it depressing rap? Do you think it's depressing?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, besides, he said himself, besides a couple of songs, I think it was like a Vulture interview or something.
Yeah.
Besides a couple of songs, it's mostly depressing rap, and I agree with it. I think it is. He said he scrapped a whole album that was way more depressing than this, and then put this out. And it's like, what were you going
how dark
through?
were you going with that? Yeah.
I know through his Snapchat shit, he has his daughter and stuff like that, but like, I don't know about any of his troubles or whatever, but he released this. Yeah, I would say, which is why I like it so much. Because it is so sad and depressing. It's just, you relate to it. Emotion. I don't relate to the specific lyrics of like gangbang and shit, but the whole overall feel, it's like, damn,
the struggle. Everybody feels
he puts it across,
especially economically, stuff like that. So, I mean, maybe we're not taking the same solutions to try to overcome those strifes, but you know, creative solutions for your environment sometimes, and you know, and even more creative to spin it into art, spin it into not only just I could sing about it because somebody wrote it. No, there not many songs. There's a couple on here, but not many songs hit the pop. You know, like 6 and do the bar, now do the chorus, now hit the 6 again.
Whatever you want is one of them.
A couple hit that, but there's nothing that go too crazy with it because a lot of his lyrics are they're like full sentences leading into another full sentence. Like the rhyme has nothing to do with a repetition of the exact same word. It's just like. And he's painting out a story, you know? So, I mean, I can see where it could be depressing rap, but it definitely doesn't feel as deep or depressing as some of the, the younger, angstier kids. Those feel more depressing, whereas this is like...
It's like the older version of that.
It's not... I don't know. I'll have to think for the word for it. But his words specifically, I know I wrote down in here, ba 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 ba. He has like Newt on Never Change.
Yeah.
Palpable frustration. Like that was just like he evokes emotion so much, but I never wrote depressing in all my little notes here for that.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's, you know, he's frustrated. All his words are extremely raw, true, uncut. You know, he has no problem unfiltering anything, whether it's one of the sexual verses, whether it's one of the verses of activities in the streets, you know, illicits, alleged illicit activities, allegedly, you know. So he doesn't, you know, aggression comes across perfectly, you know, everything like that.
That's what part of the appeal.
I could see the sadness in it, but I don't feel depression rap. You know what I mean? That's more of the angsty, the Uzi verts, the Juice world. Even some of the Mac Millers, I wouldn't say totally Mac Millers are depressing, but he touches on a lot more feelings than just like raw, I'm coming at you, I'm unfiltered. There isn't a lot of dimension to a lot of the lyrics, I feel like, because they're just like, this is the story. Here's some more information. Next. And that's just how a lot of the songs work. It's not like, floaty and aloof and all that kind of stuff.
I feel like part of the blunt nature of it that's what makes it so, like, that's coming from somebody who was depressed when they were recording it, which he said, like, he recorded it in, like, I didn't read this during the listening, but he recorded it in, like, 6, 7, 8 days. It was such a short amount of time that he recorded all this. It was really fast, yes. So it came out, and he liked the way it came out. That's how he wanted to say it the first time or the second time or whatever. And I was like, yeah. So it's like, that only comes from somebody who's like, whatever. And that comes from somebody who's just depressed.
That's true.
Like,
that is a side of depression. That's a lot of the lyrics, the woe is me, I'm sad and wallowing. It's the kind of like dead emotion, the cut off, the like, that the blank face, the exact name of the album, the blank face of it. Like, who is it? It's not. It might be Jada. Yes. Oh no, it's the Jadakiss song.
Groovy Tony.
Yeah, Groovy Tony.
That one's so good.
Just exactly how I'm gonna be when the cops come.
Yeah,
Like, I want to see a whole album based around or a whole movie based around just him and rapping those. Like, I think of like, you know, old school gangsters, you know, the Gottis, the Capos, all that stuff. And then I think of like, I want to see a Jadakiss gangster, like, that's exactly how I'm about to be when the cops come. Like, just throaty, mad, aggressive.
It's such
get
a
50
good
Cent
verse,
in there. Get just like a bunch of like, people who can play that aggressive role in and like
hug your mom and look over her shoulder like, come on, what a cold line.
Face. It's chilling, man.
I never got too much into Jadakiss. I know his, I know his like place in hip hop and stuff like that. But I'm sure all his other songs sound like that. But I love it. Great. That one is awesome. The beat switch on that is great. The very end of it. Is there any other smokers in here? Like, it's just so good. You just vibe out to that. Like, countless times I've been driving to work, blasting that.
Yeah, that one definitely puts me in like a mood. Like that one, I kind of put up there with Tukey. It's just like one of those ones that's like, there's real stuff in this one. You know what I mean? Do you know about the 5 Heartbeats, or do you know about Eddie Kane?
I saw that in the so Eddie Kane is part of the 5 Heartbeats.
Okay.
I know when I looked up Eddie Kane,
the 5 Heartbeats is a movie, and Eddie Kane's a character in the movie. That's what I see.
And I think when I like in my original like interest for the album, when I looked it up, like he's relating Eddie Kane to one of his uncles or something like that.
Okay, I didn't know if it was his lifestyle or that. Okay, that could be true. Then,
I think it's like
Groovy
so like
Tony and
my
Eddie
uncle.
Kane,
That's the shit that she was pushing. I was smoking residue, or the shit that she was smoking. I was pushing residue on the cushion. I think it's like that perspective is like, hey, like you. Like, I followed into this life because of you. You're my uncle. You were, like, the drug dealing.
But if I get caught, I'm not going to go down for it. I'm blaming you. You brought me into this. Like, he
but
talks
I did
like that.
see the 5 Heartbeats on there, and then the Eddie Kane thing.
Okay.
I'll have to look into that more then. So, what do you know about that little...
No, that's all I knew. I thought maybe... Because you know more about this album than me, without a doubt.
It definitely is, like, obscure, like, the 5 Heartbeats. It sounded like a Motown band first, but then it was, like, turned out to be a movie, you know? Like,
it's a movie about Motown?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think the 5 Heartbeats is like a Motown band. I'm putting that in quotations because I think it's like, they could be a real band, but I think it's like a made up Motown band. It's Motown Struggle.
I would imagine
Eddie
it's like,
Kane's a made up character.
Yeah, because he says keys on the road open the door to my high and stuff. So it's probably, because from the song, it's like music and the drugs relating to the music and, needing drugs to make music
like
and No, that one's really good. Yeah, the singing at the end, the ambience.
Oh yeah, all the female like
she says, "You're my only Christ" in there, whatever. It's Candice Pillay who says it. I don't know if she's a TDE signee now.
Oh, I don't know either. Actually,
I've heard her name a few times, like featuring Candice Pillay. Like when they need a female vocal, she's one of those.
She's good.
Girls.
Yeah.
But
there's a handful of them now that are like really in the top stratosphere of that, and you're like, "Oh, is that Kaliukis?" Even though she does all her own things, but I'm like, "Oh man, is that Kaliukis?" Yeah, SZA. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But it's like she's saying like, "You're my only Christ" and stuff, and it's like really just like ominous. Like I think she's talking about the drugs. Like
Yeah.
It's just cool. So he talks about. When he started with TDE, the person he related to the most was Absol. Because Absol smoked. Because J-Rock didn't really smoke.
Oh, okay,
Kendrick, quote, Kendrick was a Puritan ass.
I love that they have a little, jabby. There's such a good camaraderie with everybody.
So he would smoke with Absol in between, like, studio takes and shit like that. So that sounds like that's what he's talking about, is, like, the whole, like, I smoke and make music, and it's good, but, like, what if I... don't smoke, I'm addicted to it, but that's the whole song. I guess we got to watch 5 Heartbeats because that's probably what it's about. Like, I would imagine it's about Motown and drugs and struggling and getting famous or something like that. But this is like the perfect. One of the reasons that it makes it my favorite is the perfect second album.
Yeah.
It's his 4th album, but it's his 2nd studio album. So he released like Habits and Contradictions or whatever. Correct. But he did Oxymoron with TD, and then he did this. And it's like, what a better way to like, it's like the Godfather 2 of sequel albums. Like, it's just so good. And like, it sucks that he said that like, he regrets that it was all one sound, the depressed rap sound. Cause he's like, when he was doing interviews for Crash, he was saying his next album.
Yeah.
He was saying that he has a balance now of like picking and choosing each song. This is my sex song. This is my gangster song. This is my whatever song. Whereas on this, he was just, whatever he was going through. Once again, he was just so sad. All his shit came out sounding like this. And then you got people like me who were like, "Damn, that's the best."
I love that.
That's my favorite. Yeah,
so this is so much.
It's just cool. Like there's a thing of like when you make it, and then your next album comes out, like Drake with "Thank Me Later" and then "Take Care." Like, he nailed it with Take Care, but then it turns out because he stole all of The Weeknd's album, that was going to be his thing. So he made a great second album. It was amazing. It wasn't about, like, I'm rich, fuck you. This is the same thing. He's like, I'm rich and I made it, but I'm still, like, struggling with, like...
Something is missing.
What better lyrics? Like, the only other person who gets to this level is like Jay-Z, where like he will never stop telling you about where he's at in his life. And you're like, damn, this is interesting. Like he's telling us now, like, yeah, he's rich. Like he says like lines about put a roof under my head for like cash or something, like just stuff like that. Like he can do all that now. And like his Snapchat was always his daughter Joyce, and like she's just living the life, and he's got 2 dogs, like he's chilling, and it's like,
but he's still into his life definitely seems to all,
but for some reason
relate and correctly.
He still went back into the gangster rap shit, and like the lyrics were like, I don't think they were like gangster rap lyrics, like gang banging lyrics. I think it was like, I'm so sad and depressed, like fuck it, I'll go out and like shoot this guy or shoot whatever, I'm gonna gangbang because like I don't give a fuck anymore. That's the lyrics came across to me like that. Like it was more of like a, when Schoolboy's not sad, when he's not whatever in his old state, he's chilling with Mac Miller and going to, he was rather, but like he's doing like other shit, like Hollywood shit.
Depressed.
So when he like sunk back into the like, fuck it, I'm gonna go out and like just cause trouble and shit. It came across like that to me, which is like, it's cool. That's what makes it so.
It's the like the recklessness of it. Like they talk about in this how like before what's the song that's before 25? Oh yeah, Blank Face, where they say talking about like
Anderson Paak hooks and stuff.
Don't leaping over 25. Like I think that's I've heard it. I'm not speaking for the black community or anything like that, but I've always heard it out of, black artists or like prominent figures in interviews like that, or you've heard it in other rap songs. I think Kanye never going to make it past 25. Like it's a chilling, but it's almost like, that is a statistic that, black youth in America don't make it past 25, or that's the mortality is higher
that by that time
under 25.
Be one of 2 areas, which is dead or in jail and all that.
Yeah, so it's extremely chilling, but I think with that being told as a scenario, as those are the statistics, that's what's going on. I think with that you start becoming, I'm God before 25, I obviously want to make it longer, but I think a lot of people, when they start get pushed into labels, that's the problem with labels and statistics and all that stuff, because you then start feeling like, well, I'm this, even though you may not be that, you know what I mean? It's just kind of get put in there. So it's interesting that there's another time that 25 gets brought into it. To me, my advice that I got from my family, one of my closest aunts to me told me, don't get married before 25.
Yeah,
she just said,
that's very different.
Even I was not that I thought about getting married before 25, but I've dated and I've thought about it and I've had interest and all that kind of stuff. And, getting married would be an eventual type of thing. But she just straight up said, don't do it. Don't get married before you're 20. You don't even know yourself before you're 25. And even then, hearing it then, I was like, even ignorantly thinking like, I don't know, I'm pretty wise for my years. I'm an older, spirit in a younger body type of thing. You know what I mean? That's how I always kind of feel, but then getting to 25, I'm like, damn, she's right. I'm going into 30. I'm like, she was so damn right. I can only imagine how I feel before that, so. And
that mine is by 25, I imagine my parents wanted me to be, because like when you graduate, so when you're here, you graduate college when you're like, 22 or whatever. So the ideal would be like graduate college, find somebody to marry, and then get a house, and then, you know what I'm saying? So like by 25, they would want me to be successful, quote unquote, which is like, come on, you're kidding me. And then you have the contrast of just trying to survive until 25. Yes. That's still there.
Yeah. No, I definitely get it. So it's definitely that keeps going up. Now, he talks about John Moore.
John Muir.
Muir, is that how I'm saying
Golf
that?
player, I believe.
Okay. Is that true? Yeah, look that up, because I read on the little site while we were listening there was that it's an homage to his middle school.
Okay, so I know that. Okay, so he was. I'm an idiot. That is what it is.
Okay. No, that's
I thought he was a golfer.
And I remember because they talk about they specifically. He's a mountaineer.
So it's that old ass name. It's like how we have like Roos or was that my school? I don't know, but okay, that makes sense. Yeah, John Muir. You're right. It was totally the middle school. What did you do? I forgot totally about that. It's a good nugget. Did you figure anything out about that? Or?
Well, just the lyrics that he's talking about in that one is just like wreaking havoc. It leads to that immortality under 25 thing. And I remember when I was 14, I was definitely wreaking my own version of havoc. It's in my personal life, I went from being from a more or less sheltered lifestyle of it's a private school, but it was not a very good, it wasn't any kind of ritzy private school, but there was a fundamental religious thought that propped up the teachings of the school and all that. If it wasn't your STEM things, you were learning about, religion of Catholicism, old Roman Catholic stuff. So when
it's like in Harry Potter, when everyone had to go to the same class,
Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't matter what you're doing.
You have to do these ones. Yeah. So if it wasn't, when I was 14, I was moving away from that and moving. I wasn't fully in public school, but I was doing the charter school. So which are still a terrible.
Which is like for someone who's dumb like me, charter. What's the difference between public and charter? Charter is
you'd have to
charter as in you stay there.
No, so charter had like a little more uniformity to it. That all your charter jokes here. Yeah, you were charter. Charter, the chart of three. Yeah,
the charter. Hell yeah. That's when you're expelled twice, and then you're on your third charter. The chart of three, baby. But no, it's like it's ran by.
There's stuff to do with funding that's different than public school. There's stuff to do with that funding. You can have different fundamental thoughts at the helm of the school.
I see.
Different, just things even granular down to like, my parents were hyped about it because it was, you still got uniforms and things like uniformity. So
it's like privatized almost where they can modify.
Yeah, they merge that private and that, public kind of line. So, it was definitely, it was a rougher school than where I came from. I'm coming from, everybody's here for just God, and then we're going to learn some other stuff. That's very much how it was. There was no God and no belief, and there was just like, we're here to all get A's or survive or whatever. Some people, it was their daycare type of thing. It was, I don't want to be on the streets, so I'm going to be in school type of stuff. Some people could care less that they were at school. I think the charter was worse than the public school. When I finally made the public school, I was like, I should have just did this shit to start, you know what I mean? So when he's talking about wreaking havoc at 14, I mean, the things we were doing at 14, we were getting in fights with people. I definitely got in all kinds of different fights, whether they were...
you had fight club fights. You had sanctioned fights.
Yeah, I was going to say, whether they were sanctioned fights, hey, I'll meet you over here, and we're going down, or, we'd have fights in the bathrms all the time.
Dana White of the charter
world. Yeah. Maybe I eventually get some of my old friends if we reconnect and this podcast keeps going. We could find a record. We'll talk about some of the fights we used to have, our middle school records, so got the belt, baby. Yay! No, but yeah, we just all kinds of havoc. I'd go to a friend's house to spend the night, and hey, we're in proximity to Detroit. Let's go down there for the night, and let's go see what's going on down there. What's popping? You know. I
can't even tell you. Mine is sad.
14
it involves no debauchery at all.
Nowhere near what Schoolboy was doing. Mine doesn't even pale. Mine looks like I was a little pansy-ass kid compared to Schoolboy at 14.
Which of this, I found out while listening, I was reading that he freestyled this. So it's even more of a testament to like...
That was a song that only had one verse on it, so that makes sense.
So he just freestyled the whole thing, and it's like, where else does that come from besides your head? And like, you're not making that shit up at that point. When you're freestyling, it's like a split second. You can't even think about it. So he's saying shit, barreling through the motherfucking street, y'all.
Yeah.
I could check that out. We've all done that. Driving fast down your favorite street, whatever.
Right.
Never had a motherfucking weed card. Like, that's you'd think it was like, what a silly ass line. Come on, really?
But now in California, you're freestyling, there is weed cards and there's a legal version of it. And he's like, not only am I riding around fast as hell, don't give a shit in whatever neighborhood, whether you're in a prominent neighborhood or not,
getting high
with that. You have your weed on you. You don't have the license for it. Yep. Probably strapped, lifestyle you're living.
And it's freestyle, so that's what he was doing back in the day. So, but perfect. Yeah. That's awesome. It's cool that he titled it after his John Muir.
I had to look that up because I was like, was John Muir like an old gangster? It sounded like an old Chicago gangster name to me.
He's even more badass. He's a mountaineer.
He's a mountaineer.
My middle school titled album would not be sweet. I don't know what the first name is, but it's like Wolf.
I don't know. Wolf was Tyler the Creator's album, which is really dope. Yeah. And you just can't do it. What if you did Wolf with the E, and it was literally like everything like a Tyler album, but it was just the wolf colors, and like he just did an homage to the school.
Everything had an E at the end of it, all the titles.
Like, why? This is my own thing. Yeah, this is the Ward Wolf. What can I say? What is your favorite track on the album? What's the one that you've got a good memory with? What's the one that you've got the most hype with?
Let me look at the track list, man, because this is too much to... Listen, I love Tookie Knows, but it's too much of like a... I don't know.
That's the one for me.
This is why I hate choosing favorites, because it's like, am I going to choose?
You don't have
is it my favorite because of this or that?
To me, there's my favorite. That clearly do it to me.
Yeah, my favorite one I would want to be the one that has the meaningful message as well. So like right off top, Tookie Knows 2, the last track is too good. It's just like his friends, they're not rappers, but he got them on. Maybe he wrote some of the verses, maybe he didn't. If he didn't, it's even better.
Traffic would be mad if he heard that. He releases his own albums. Traffic is like a
rapper. So there you go. So
I listen to him, but I haven't like listened to him multiple times. I see like, oh, Schoolboy's promoting Traffic's album. Then I'll press play, then I'll listen to it. But I don't know anything by TF.
I would say Groovy Tony, purely because, well, Eddie Kane specifically.
Well, that's the same song, so you know.
Yeah, so like if I had to break it down more, it's Eddie Kane is my favorite. Portion. It's the beat switch Eddie Kane part, but Groovy Tony, Eddie Kane.
Okay.
Great. So Eddie Kane is by far.
Anything specifically that like what is
it's
because
the ambience,
of the beat switch?
It's the ambience, and I'm telling like in the end of the song, you play it. Everybody who is listening, play that shit. You'll hear her saying like something, you're my only Christ.
Oh,
like, it's just really
the
like
Jadakiss,
it's ominous and creepy, and also great music at the same time. Like the whole fucking album is mixed so well by Derek Ollie, who's mixed by Ollie, who's TDE's mixer, and like that dude is great. We talked about this on the Damn episode, but he's so good that like Beyonce's team was like, come produce her album or mix her album, please. Yeah. Jazz artists were like what you do with like whatever windpipe or fucking instruments, like that type of section with your hip hop songs is so great. Please come mix our jazz albums. He's like, all right, like like that. Come on, you're a talented dude. So the whole thing
that is true.
It just sounds so well, but like that whole the layering and the mixing at the end. When the bass switches from Groovy Tone, all those weird ass lines, like it's not just like the gangbang shit. It's like that desperate like.
Do you remember that when we went and saw him? Like people were lighting up like in the mass. They're ready, the
which we did, Confession, no, not a confession, but we went and saw this. We saw him perform this. He only did I think it was like 12 shows. So the fact that he came here was awesome.
I think part of the small
Groovy
amount
Tony
of shows,
pit stop is what he called it.
Yeah, the Groovy Tony pit stop, because on that leg of the tour, he wasn't with anybody as far as like anybody else with the label, anybody else. He wasn't with SZA, he wasn't with Kendrick, anything like that, because they did bigger tours right after that. Yeah, he came with Traffic, he came with Smack, he came with TF. It was his buddies. It was so if you listen to this album, you should definitely go on whatever Schoolboy Q puts out on YouTube. You can see that there's a roadshow diary. So like there's about 3 diary shows. That was on Snap. That was just so fun. Unbelievable. They cut it all together and put it on there. They did stuff about the traveling with that. There's 3 episodes that go with this album. That are specifically
God, those are so good.
2 songs per episode, the prologue, type of thing.
Music video, short film, and mashup. It was By Any Means, Tookie Knows, and something else.
I think they said a music video, but it wasn't part of that. That was like separate.
Yeah.
But so
those are so good.
I can't remember the other one, but yeah, you're right. Tookie Knows that, and the other one was that.
The one's in like I don't know. The one that's in like I think it's By Any Means or Black Thought.
It was Black Thought, right?
Yeah, Black Thought is my favorite one. But like I'm saying, it speaks. I don't know. I should have watched it before, but like when I watched that, that's what I remember. It's like black and white, and he's on the bus and stuff like that. And it's like I don't know. It just has so much meaning and symbolism. It's sweet to drop music. That's the thing. Like this is how you know. Like he is all about it. Like the vinyl stuff. Like I don't know how much more interactive you can get with vinyl, but if he did stuff like that, like to the level of the sharp, it was high quality and all this. He got Kendrick to direct and stuff like that. If he did something like that with this, that would have been really cool. But
only thing I could ask for on the vinyl, and I'll probably break this down every time we listen to a record. I wish it had a lyric sheet. The liner notes are fine. Everything once you open it up, you can look at it vertically, and there's just kind of a silhouette of Groovy Q.
It's cool, the way you can view it. The lyrics are so important, man.
Yeah,
because it comes straight from the source.
From this, and to go so when I was looking online at the lyrics, one of the things that I saw was that if you bought this on iTunes, it came with a digital booklet, which had all kinds of extra excerpts and all kinds of things that are not included in this vinyl.
What's dominating, which is streaming, not vinyl. So
that's true. So
that's
I wish there was a little booklet in here, even just a 2-page sheet with just some lyrics and some extra little nuggets on the back. But other than that, it's a really, really good presentation of an album, of
course,
the colored vinyl. I love it. It sounded great. No grainy pops on this one, like we did on the last album. There's a little more weather on
that one takes the cake so far for like most vinyl
sound. Yeah, the Stevie Wonder
this
one.
This one is complete opposite, where it's like this thing is
there's
orange.
a fidelity you can reach with the vinyl. So yeah, we could crank it all the way up. I mean,
just the physical aspects of stuff too, like just the fact that it's a colored. It's not just a black record. It's like orange as fuck. Like it just looks so cool. It's got the I don't know what they call that, like the wood grain style melting
like
into it. Yeah, the swirls.
And it goes with the,
it's just
the
so
front
cool.
cover. I love the front cover of this album because it's like, to me, I understand that it's like it's like an orange, either on fire or sunset woods, you know, and he's standing there. But to me, I don't know about you. You ever go to the ophthalmologist? Is that who looks at your eyes? The optometrist or optometrist? Yeah. When they like take a picture of your eye and you see the inside of it?
Yeah,
that's what this album looks like to me.
You think so?
That's what every time I see it, I'm just like...
because of the bottom, and then you have the trees looking like veins or something. Yeah,
it always looks like an eye. I like that. Like the inside of an eye. I don't know if that ever looks like that to you.
No, now that the bottom... Is that bottom half moon on the top and bottom? Is that on the vinyl only, or is that on the... Because I don't know if that's on the
actual record. You can look that up real easily, real quick.
I have the track list pulled up right here.
Yeah, because there's like a little...
It is, yeah.
Black thing on the top and the bottom here. But to me, awesome, that's always like, when I look away, it looks like an eye or the inside of an eyeball or something there. Yeah.
The dude on the front is badass for his release. Once again, like all the marketing and everything done for it is amazing. That guy who has like the glasses and the fedora and trench coat and the nylon face, like his like hitman or whatever. He brought for his interviews.
Groovy Q? Is that not
Schoolboy? I don't know if that's him or not.
I thought that was Schoolboy trying to be, because he wears this fedora on the inside, you know. Camera shot. Damn, there goes the record. Not bad, but you see, like, he wears his fedora. The one he wears all the time, you know, interviews and shit like that.
Oh, so is that the same one, the Western style one? That looks more of like the Gangs.
I can't 100% tell, because in the... You're right, this one's more floppy on the front.
I know that when he did the marketing and stuff like that, he brought that dude on the cover with him to all his interviews.
So then he's just standing
there in the background, just like his bodyguard. And all. That's the coolest shit ever. Like, it's awesome. Dude.
The persona of the blank faces.
Yeah, so he brought that guy with him, dressed exactly like he is on the cover. If you look up interviews, I'm sure he did it on a big one, like Breakfast Club or Hot 97, and they were just like, yo, what the fuck?
I'll check it out.
Bringing in some hitman looking dude. He's just standing there not saying anything.
That sounds like Charlemagne. Yo, what the fuck? Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of cool, like, tiny things, like Kendrick's all over the album. He does background vocals and stuff like that. I remember that same interview where the dude is standing in the back. Q, because he's a funny guy, so he does.
Q is really funny. Like,
he says, like, Kendrick gave me for By Any Means or Black Thought or whatever it was. Yeah, that's Kendrick who does that. And he was like, Kendrick really gave me his quote, Lord of the Rings ass vocals.
Oh, hell yeah, because that's really deep.
Yeah. It is deep, and that's Kendrick. And it's like, did he not use effects? Okay, that's his Lord of the Rings. He calls it his Lord of the Rings voice.
Lord of the Rings voice. By any means.
Yeah.
He gets deep on that, and usually, you know, Kung Fu Kenny's a lot more high pitched. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
He was all over it. I was surprised to hear him on more than. He was on
tons of it.
He was in this, I think, because there's always on these albums, which is why I love doing this, there's some that I just don't get around to. Or I hear once and I'm like, it's not replayable enough or whatever. Straight Ballin' was one of them.
Yeah,
I think Kendrick did background vocals on that one too. And I was like, I didn't know he was on this too. Like, he's doing it for everybody. So
Straight Ballin', literally to me was like, that was almost the same song as Big Body, except just like different sounds, but the lyrics could have been just like interchangeable. You know what I mean? Like, because what did I say? Big Body was the one where they did the it was Dog Pound. It was all the guys from Dog Pound.
That's the Tyler the Creator produced one, which I know you like. You got that golf hat on there.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing a golf hat.
But
today,
that one takes the rank for best beat on there. I would say.
You think so? You really like that? It's such a West Coast bouncy beat.
I guess because they were all produced by like TDE related people, but like Tyler is just his own. You can tell as soon as it starts, you can tell it's a Tyler song. Yeah, because like Schoolboy loves Alchemist. But that one has the bounciest beat. It's just too fun.
Without a doubt,
it's too fun.
I like Tukey Knows the best. I know that's the Cop Out song.
Which one?
But Tukey Knows too, obviously the best.
Yeah.
But specifically, it's part of why we're doing the podcast and listening to the music. It's my memory of it at the show. I mean, I'm a big guy. We don't jump around at too many shows, but we were jumping around.
I think we jumped the whole song.
The whole song. He brought everyone
That's
out.
about 400 hops.
So many hops. All on beat. We were moshing. We were already going through it. Traffic came out.
Dude,
he got more applause.
He brought Dany Brown out at the end.
Dany Brown came out. Come on. Smack was there. Like, everybody was there. That's right. I remember
potentially Reason was there. I'm not sure, unless I'm mixing it up with the other show we saw.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Somebody came out besides Dany Brown and his two other friends. But I was like, man.
I'll have to go back to the pictures and see. I remember being in line and like, oh, let me get on Instagram and let me see. And I click on, Groovy Q's face, and then, he's there with Dany Brown. Stanny crowd, Stanny crowd. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I guess Dany Brown's here. He's on the other side of this wall that I'm standing on here, getting ready for the show.
Yeah, that was really hype. When the bass drops in that one, that in the venue was just blown out completely. And everyone was jumping and stuff.
We were just having too much fun. Yeah. So that was good. If it's not that one, it's By Any Means. Like, that one to me is more like that. I could relate to that. By Any Means. I just there's not many things to distract. I'm here to get what I'm going for. I'm going to get that by any means. Hey, you think this is a distraction or a weakness? Psych. I'm looking at that. Go ahead. Yeah. By any means. Yeah. I'm getting that. So I love the message of that song, but that would be like my favorite song to like keep turning on and like, dang, this is such a good song. Okay, oh my God. But Tukey Knows is just, I have such good memories.
So good. I'll play it all the time. But a lot of these there's not one song that I'll Overtime, because it's the Self-Admittedly by Q again. It was like the, sexual or whatever. It was like the studio song, like the one that was like for the masses or whatever. And it's like at first he wasn't down for it because they made him do that for Oxymoron with Miguel. That one song.
Yeah. Well, he has Miguel in this one as well.
Yeah. Or was it Studio with BJ the Scrap Kid? One of the first ones where it was like the same thing. Like it was like the love song. He didn't like fuck with it. He didn't want it on the album. Yeah. And the label was like, you have to put it on there. Overtime was this song for this album. But then he came around and was like, all right, fine, whatever. And he did this song. So
Overtime is like the
I feel the same way as him. Yeah. So it's the same thing. Like fuck the
Overtime
I don't want the love song
stood out more. I think because of it.
So I'm saying it was clearly like plucked from his. Maybe fit because he makes, which is a huge trend now. But he makes self-admittedly he's made 2 albums before he's released every album. Oh, and for this one, he said he did 3 albums and then released this. Or that was for Crash Talk. For this one, he did 2, then released this. So if you have 3 albums worth of songs as a label, record company, you're like, well, which one is the best? Yeah, so they probably picked the one that he wasn't a fan of and then told him to put it on there.
So put Miguel.
But at the end of the day, you got that, and then you got Kanye on there, and there was the whole he paid for the Kanye verse, and Schoolboy Q was like a gangster. He's like, no, I didn't pay for shit. I'll never pay for a verse. And he was like, he literally said those were the internet dweebs that said that. He's so funny, man.
With the dweebs, so he's self-admittedly burning his ass. The thing with Kanye though, I'm sure this is with many rappers, but like some of his verses, especially out here, it's like
he snaps.
Well, it's not that he snaps. It's obvious it's a freestyle. You know what I mean? Because it's like. It's freestyle to the noise, you know what I mean? It's with that snapping.
He loves doing that,
and he does that.
And then he'll put words to it and shit, so.
I wonder if you were Schoolboy and you were like, if say you did pay for it, I know I said I'm gangster, I'll pay for it, but if you did, say you pay Kanye $20K, it's a verse, this is a business, we're really doing this, and he comes in and goes, is that what you're paying for? Is that what you're paying for? Is that Kanye magic? Or are you paying for okay, well I gave him $20,000 and then he just gave me this shit, sometimes you feel like it's just it's one-offs because it's something about features with rap. So like features with this, I wrote in here Schoolboy Chameleon. He can chameleon for a feature. So like when Dog Pound is on here, he is chameleoning that style to bring Dog Pound in and be on it. When he's got Anderson .Paak, he hits that R&B vibe that he likes to do.
He'll mix his own sound.
Whereas, someone like 2 Chainz, where you're like, well, they brought 2 Chainz on because 2 Chainz sounds like 2 Chainz. That's why they're making the
2 Chainz type song.
Right. Yeah. Whereas Schoolboy's like, I want this feature. I could change up my flow because I can match what you need, and we're gonna make this hit together. Yeah. And that happens a lot on this album. That's part of why I like it.
He does it well. It's not like a Culture Vulture style.
Not at all.
Like not
at all. It shows to his talent.
And that shows too with the new Gorillaz, whatever they're doing.
Oh, I didn't even listen to those, but I saw that. Yeah, Schoolboy Q.
You got a straight up Gorillaz song, and then Schoolboy Q just starts rapping on it. It's like, hey, this works. Like he came through and he gave something to them that was. He didn't pull the Kanye and go, okay. We listen to the song, probably give him a good ass verse, and like he puts out killer features.
I definitely have to check those new ones out. I felt like those. Somebody was doing a podcast. Maybe it was Gorillaz was doing a podcast. And they had Schoolboy Q on the podcast, and then like they released that song. Oh, okay. I think that's kind of like the birth of that. Releasing. I know it's all engineered through the production people. They I'm not going to plug them.
It's called Soundscape or something. Like that.
Okay, yeah, I haven't listened to any of it. There's just so many things to listen to.
A lot of the artists are not like fringe to me, but then they were like, "Guess what? Schoolboy Q's on the next one." I'm like, "Whoa, no way."
Yeah, I got a lot of publicity because of him being on there. Maybe you're not a Gorillaz fan and you might be a hip-hop fan. You're like, oh, well, I know who the Gorillaz are, obviously.
Yeah. And speaking of other people being all over the album, besides Kendrick, Anderson .Paak was, like you said, he's awesome. This was his time.
He's
the West Coast.
He's with Stone's Throw.
Not with them, but the Dre connection, and that was his, like, he was shining at that point. He dropped Malibu.
West Coast love, man. Yeah.
So the background vocals, like you said, it just works so well, man. He's on what? He's on Torch. He's on Blank Face.
Yep.
His background vocals, I remember watching a video when this was being made, and Anderson .Paak, like, recorded, and then he came out of the studio, and then he was, like, not, like, timid or shy, but he was like, how was that? And then Q was just like, God, like, just do that so every time. Good. Like, just please, like, thank you. And it's like, man, if you're an artist and you got, like, Anderson .Paak is singing on your song, it's over. You're good. So he's got him on 2. He might have him on background vocals on another one, but I know Torch and Blank Face is him. And it's like, that's why it makes it one of my favorite albums. It's like the very flowy and ambient and still interlaced with, like, be what you want to be as long as you get the money right. Like, that's the whole, like, that's the 25 one. It's like, whatever you're going to do, as long as you're doing it. If you're robbing, stealing, killing, if you're working a 9-to-5 job, like, as long as you're getting your money right, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got some soulful-ass dude singing, telling you that, layered over great music.
It just pushes that message as opposed to just, like, hard beat, hustle, hard beat. The flow of it, you're like, Yeah.
It's really good to vibe out to. You can play this at a lot of different times with a lot of different feelings and moods, and it works out.
Yeah, there's I would say 3 big emotions on here. You know what I mean? Stevie Wonder, you really hit on like every emotion.
Life, he was giving you everything.
The man knows. But there's like 3 heavy big emotions on here. Yeah. He really pioneers home. So I can see where he says it's depression rap. It's definitely not as rounded as he would probably like to see it. So, but who's a harsher critic than yourself? So I mean, Q, this was a great album. This album was the shit. Loved it.
Listen, other features. E40.
Oh my God.
My favorite feature rapper ever.
Remarkable.
Remarkable. It's so good. And that's the whole, like, that's Bay Area, West Coast, which I'm not familiar with or whatever, but it's like you got West Coast to West Coast. Yeah. Like you said, the molding. He just fit his style, and it's like he got the fast, sharp.
He got it ready for E40 to come on. It wasn't like E40's here, and now you have to change your beat to match what E40 sounds like. Schoolboy was like, "No, here's that run up. He really is giving him the alley oop for all of these." For these, features, it really isn't like come over here and bring your sound to me. I'm gonna help you bring that sound. Yeah.
Just the one word. Ending, the one word cap to his lyric, that's the best. That's like the E40 staple, but it's just so good. Like, I'm not, once again, familiar with it, but I didn't listen to all. I know E40 has like 25 albums, no joke. 25 at least. He's on his 26th or 27th studio album. I 100% believe that.
So
like, I haven't listened to any. I know like You and That Booty from like back in the day when I was in middle school and shit, but all his features are just so good. I love that he chose him to be on this album, which was awesome because you got some weird choices with the Dog Pound. I mean, not weird. That's obvious because of the West Coast.
Well, but you got like outside the Dog of that Pound, degree, there's not much else. That's why you would say it's weird. Unless you're West Coast,
they could have went Dre, Snoop, all those guys. But like, I feel like specifically conspiracy theory. I feel like Top Dog would be like, there's not going to be too many songs with the old school West Coast because they are the new school West Coast sound. There's no need to bring in the old sound with the new.
Yeah,
the Dog Pound is obviously, but they're not. Dog Pound isn't like Dr. Dre.
No.
Which, like, Anderson .Paak worked a shitload with Dr. Dre, but that's because Dre came and plucked
him,
and he had nothing
to
do with
for
TD.
Compton and all that
I'm
stuff.
sure Tom Dog was like, no, Kendrick, Absol, whatever, all these dudes, they're mine.
We have a powerhouse. Why do we need all that?
Yeah. Are there songs? I know there's songs with, like, Nip and Snoop and stuff like that, but are there songs with Schoolboy Q and Snoop Dogg? I don't know. I can't recall.
Not that I know off the top of my head. If it wasn't a chart topper that I
Interesting.
can think of, So, maybe we'll get into that.
No, I'm kidding.
They don't like each other?
But it's cool that Vince Staples is a different one. I wonder, I think, obviously, Vince Staples is a huge social media, like, I'm a fool presence. So that's probably how they link together because they're both, like, in that similar vein of goofy Snapchat, like,
Vince
social media
is Northern
people.
Cali, right? Isn't that when he always raps about he's, like, Northern Cali as well? He may not be
North.
He's not exactly where TDE guys are from, but he's still up there. Yeah, so
I would imagine them having a good time together, though, just busting chops and shit like that.
He is one of the most vicious. When he is just like, I saw the thing with him recently with Kenny Beats, and like, I feel like he likes and respects Kenny Beats, but at the same, you're like, damn, he's up. That makes me chuckle. He's a funny guy. He really rips at you. Yeah,
it's funny. Man, I don't know. You talk about this forever, dude. I just love just the whole sound, the whole vibe.
Yeah. If for any reason you haven't checked it out back to front, this is another one. Back to front. Listen to it all the way. It's not even like they made a record for an excuse to release singles. Yeah. Hell no.
No, he was in some dark times and he released some shit that like really spoke to me, which was awesome.
Yep.
Lance Skywalker on the album. That guy's sweet. Yep. They signed him. TDE signed him, rather.
Oh, that's right. I was wondering why I recognized that name, but he got signed after Reason.
He's the one who goes, jump in my bank account so I can deposit you. Great wordplay. But that's him right there. He does a couple of the songs with TDE after that point, but that was the first one where it was like, damn, featuring Lance Skywalker. Yeah. He's awesome. I like him a lot. That song, Know You're Wrong.
I remember
you can't choose a favorite, man. They're all so
it's hard to definitely say that, but I know I definitely have ones that are more favorite to me personally because of memories that deal with them. But then there's just ones that are like...
or more like you want everyone to be your favorite.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
I think this might be my
Lord
favorite
have mercy
album, but that's even hard to say too because I really like Oxymoron. That's so good. I'm okay with Crash Talk. It's a pretty good album. But Oxymoron and Blyface, like Bang Bang, those are just...
It's gotta be...
That's the double barrel. Like,
This is like right up the alley of just very introspective. Yeah. Nothing... Like you said, raw, unfiltered, nothing left unsaid, nothing is ambiguous. He's telling you straight up, like, this is it. Like,
I can only imagine what was held back on the other raw. Like you said,
if this is sad enough,
threw the other one away. It was like, man, you're pretty to the edge as it is, man. I can only imagine what else you're going down with. So I mean, I love the stories that they paint. He touches into that artistic side of him as well as that reality because he's definitely got his finger on that pulse. That's definitely a reality to it. But
sucks that there was no Mac feature on there.
There was no Mac feature on there. You're right. They had a great friendship, and that was one that was everybody turned to Schoolboy Q when Mac passed away to like, what's School gonna say about it?
And he delayed his next album because of it and stuff.
I remember that. So definitely another tragedy that's affected the sound. In a rippling way. Yeah.
Hard to choose, but I would put it in a numbered top.
Yeah.
3, 5, or 10.
Oh.
10 is too harsh on it. I would say it's either 5. It's probably
top album of a decade for sure. I would say this is a top
defining album.
Top tenor of a decade.
I would say it's as critics say and stuff, is magnum opus.
Magnum opus.
I think it's his best.
I'm excited for
not to hoe him or whatever. I want him to make something as good, but like,
I feel like
when you relate to somebody personally,
he
plays a lot of golf. Yeah. And he said in the interview too, he said he wants to stop making like 40-year-old dad rap or whatever. And it's like, man, what are you? He sounds self-conscious. I don't know.
I think he is. I definitely think he is. But
no, this is the one. Yeah. Definitely make more of all the stuff that he's made. This one speaks to me the most.
Definitely, yeah. We're gonna wrap this episode up.
Man, like I said, we
can talk about
it's always gonna be there.
It'll be pretty cyclical in what we're saying. We'll
for the people who
for anything else,
for people who listen, like just definitely check it out.
Check it out. If you're listening to this, definitely watch it on YouTube. That's where we're definitely trying to push everything as a watching show through YouTube. We do have a camera running. We are being visual. If you have any recommendations for a record that we do, feel free to leave a comment here, leave it on Instagram, leave it wherever. If you check us out on either YouTube or Instagram, you can see the shelf behind me. You can browse all the titles that are on there, recommend something from off of there. But hey, there's always an excuse to buy another record, so recommend that record and we'll get to it. But anybody who's listening, thank you very much for listening. Dany, thank you for coming out again. Another episode on the books. I'm really having fun doing this. This is the more the merrier, but the more that we do of these, the more fun it gets. Yeah, man. Sit and spin. Sit and spin. Another one. Another one signing off. Play us out, son. You got to bring up that slider. Bada bow. Yeah.